everyone, I'm Allie with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to show you today how to do these little right angle weave units. I made them into earrings. I'll also be kind of telling you how you can do them into a bracelet, but I'm going to show you how to make the earrings today. We're going to be using right angle weave, and the earrings are kind of reversible or double-sided, so if you want to do them two different colors, you can. That would be an option. For this, you're going to need some 4mm Swarovski crystals. I'm using Montana Blue. And this one here is the fuchsia, or I'm sorry, the ruby color. And what we're going to be using in addition to our 4mm Swarovskis is two different colors of seed beads. I'm using the metallic dark raspberry as well as the galvanized green steel. Those are my two seed bead colors that I'm going to use. On the example, I have the cranberry, the galvanized cranberry color, and then the bronze color as well. And the bronze color just kind of picks up a little bit on the sides. That's why I'm using two different colors. In addition to my crystals and my seed beads, I need a needle. I'm using a size 10 English beading needle, and I'm using 0.006 wildfire beading thread. Because I'm doing a blue color, I'm going to use the green thread to do that. In addition to that, I have a burner that I'm going to burn my edges off with. And then later on I'll show you, if you want, how you can attach them to a larger crystal and an ear wire. So that's going to be our materials for us to do these little right angle weave, the raw cube earrings, and you can decorate them. You don't have to make them double-sided. If you do decide that you want to make them into earrings and make them two-sided, you're going to need 18 crystals, 18 of your 4mm crystals per earring. So what we're going to start out by doing is building our base. Our base is going to be 3 rows of right angle weave that are 3 wide. So we're going 3 by 3, so we're going to have 9 little right angle weave units. To start and to do that, so this is going to be my one base that I've created just for you to see, and I'm going to start another one. So I have a stop bead onto my thread, and I've threaded my needle, and I'm going to start out by adding 8 beads onto my thread. And I'm going to let them drop down next to my stop bead. So I have my 8 beads on. I let them drop down next to my stop bead, and I'm going to be doing right angle weave. So for that, I start with 8. Normally right angle weave will have groups of 4. I'm doubling that, so that's how I get 8. I want it to circle, so I'm going to sew back through the first 6 beads, leaving 2 beads that I'm not sewing through. And that needle is going from the stop bead up towards the tip. And that's going to round out these beads. And that's going to get me my first little right angle or raw unit. From now on, I'm only going to be putting on 6 beads at a time because my other 2 beads to make my unit of 8 are already there with the last unit that I created. So I'm going to add 6 more beads. So I have 6 beads onto my needle. Again, I'm going to sew through 6 beads. The original 2 that were already on there, I'm sewing through. And then I'm going to sew through 4 more beads. I'm sewing up through them. Pulling tight. And that's my second right angle unit. I'm going to do my third right angle unit by adding 6 more beads. And after I have those 6 beads on, I'm going to go sew back through the original 2. That's 2. And then I'm going to sew back through the next 4. And as you can tell, I'm constantly kind of flipping it in my hand. That just makes it easier for me to always sew in an upward direction. So you might find it easier to flip it kind of in your hand. So here I have my first row of 3. What I'm going to be doing now is adding another row below it. To do that, once I'm ending here at the top, I'm going to sew down the next 2 beads. So row your third right angle unit, you're actually going to be sewing through all 8 beads and just not the 6. That's going to end my thread right here towards the end of that third right angle unit. Because I already have these 2 beads that are going to be part of my next right angle unit, I'm going to add 6 beads on. And once I have those 6 beads on, I'm going to sew down through those original 2. And that's going to get my next right angle unit complete. In addition to those 2 that I'm sewing through, I'm going to sew through the next 2 as well. So I'm showing through 4 beads. Now what I'm going to be doing is, originally my first unit I added 8, then each unit after that I've added 6. Because I'm going here with a unit that's beside one another, I'm only going to add 4 for my next 2 units. I'm going to use the 2 beads here, and then I'm going to use these 2 beads here that are on the side. So I'm adding 4 beads onto my needle. I'm going to sew back through the 2 side beads here from the second right angle unit that we added. Then I'm also going to sew through the 2 from the 4th one that was added. And right now my needle appears here. I need my needle to be down here, so I'm going to go around through the next 2 and through the next 2 as well. So I'm going through all 8 beads. To start my right angle unit then, I'm going to go through the 2 beads on the side from our first right angle unit that we did, and I'm going to add 4 more beads. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then what I'm going to do is sew back through the 4 that are here. The 2 from the previous unit and the 2 from the very first unit that we added. And that's going to get my second row completed. I'm going to sew over to the corner here too. And the goal with right angle weave is that you never see any thread showing. So you don't want to see any thread bridges here that are going down the line. If you're doing that, you're kind of cheating in a little step. I'm going to sew through those first 2 original beads on the side so that we're coming down just like we started row 2, I'm sorry. We're coming down off the last 2 beads here. We're going to add 6 because we're starting a new row, and then each one after this we're only going to add 4. So we have 6 beads on. We're going to sew through those 2 and then again through 2 more beads. Again, 4 beads go on because we're going to be attaching units. We're going up the 2 on the side, and then we're going to go the whole way around through the 2 previous ones from the last right angle unit that we did, and then down the ones on the side, and down these 2 as well. To start our next unit, we're also going to pick up the 2 on the side of that unit there, and now we're getting ready to add 4 more. So right angle can be a little bit confusing. Once you get going, it's pretty easy to follow. And we're going to sew back through the 2. It's big figure 8s is what it is. And once we're done here, I just want to bring my thread and needle so it's coming out one of my corners. And now we're at the point where we have our base. So this base you could actually add together. We have another video called the tennis bracelet that uses this whole base as a bracelet. You can also connect it on the corners. You can make all different things, but we're going to be making the little earrings here. So to do that, what I'm going to do first is fill in my sides. If you look on the original here, I have an alternating color that's kind of filling in the sides here. That's that brassy color. I'm going to use my metallic dark raspberry color here, and I'm going to fill in my sides. So if you notice our original piece that we just finished, what I've done is I've gone around with my first piece here, that was my first one that I had done, and I've added my seed beads, my dark raspberries, in the place. And what that does is it holds it together a little bit better rather than being a little off. This makes nice squares. So we're going to do that with our second piece. To do it with our second piece, all we're going to be doing is we're coming out that corner, we're adding one of our dark raspberry beads, and we're sewing through 2 beads. So every 2 beads after we sew through, we're going to add another seed bead onto our needle. And what that's going to do is just fill in that gap really nicely so we get that nice cube effect. And you see those nice squared right angle units. Once I get to the corner, I'm going to use my bead on the corner as well. So I'm putting a seed bead in on the corner, and down we go. And another bead on. You're just going the whole way around, picking up the 2 beads that are on the corners and the sides. It's almost like doing a puzzle. You're doing the sides first. You're just going to kind of ignore your stop bead that's there. Pull that out of the way. Sew through the next 2 beads. So you can see we're getting our cube shape here. And we're sewing through. We're just continuing to work it the whole way around this right angle little box. And once we're done with this little box or square, I'm going to show you how to do your embellishments. We're going to embellish one side at a time, doing one side of the crystals, and then we'll flip over and do the other side. So we're going to complete going around here, adding this between all of our units. I have one more to go. And you do want your thread and needle coming out of a corner. So when you're done here, you're going to go back through the last 2 beads and also through and coming out the original alternating seed bead color that you added into the corner. And then we're going to have our 2 little cube units here, and we're going to get ready to embellish. So I've already done the one side of this one earring. You can see we're doing it by rows. So we do the front side, and then we're going to flip over and do the back side, doing it row by row. To do the front side, what we're going to be doing is adding our crystals. You're picking up your 4mm crystal, and we're going to be laying it right in that place. You're always going to be sewing in the same direction. So I'm coming out the corner here. I'm going to go through the 2 beads, coming out towards the corner again. And that's going to pull my crystal right in there, laying the same direction. Again, I put on my next crystal, pull my bead, and I'm sewing that one as well. And that's going to pull right in there. One more crystal goes on through the 2 beads here at the top and coming out, and that's going to finish that first side with that first row of crystals. You're going to flip over to the back side. You're coming out that corner there of those 2 beads. You're going to add your crystal up the 2 seed beads. So you're just going to continue with this the whole way down that front and back line, and then we're going to show you how to move to the second line. When it comes to adding my second row of crystals, now that my front and back are done, what I have to do is swing around my thread so that it's ending right here at the top so I can mimic it. So you're just going to follow your right angle unit here, and you're going to go down your seed beads on the side, and I'm ignoring those cornered seed beads of my alternating color. You can see I'm sewing down through. It's a little hard to see in between the crystals, but I'm sewing down through my right angle unit and just going basically the whole way around. After I finish going the whole way around in a circle with that last right angle unit, I'm going to go to the top here and come out these 2 beads in my middle row. Then I'm going to get ready to add my crystals here. So I pick up a crystal, and then I'm sewing again from my 2 beads, and I'm sewing up, and that's going to have the crystals lay in the same direction as the previous row before it. And you're just going to continue this the whole way around, just like you did with the first row, doing the first side and then jumping to the back side as well. So the embellishment is really easy on this. It's just getting that right angle weave unit down. And once you have this down and you have that first side done, I'm going to flip over and we're going to do the second side, sewing in the same direction. Continue this the second side, and then we're going to do our third row in the exact same fashion. Circling around our right angle weave so we can get our needle in place, and then we're going to start adding our crystals. And once you have that last crystal in place, we're going to get ready to do that third row then. So we're going to continue to our third row, and to get to our third row, we're going to do our right angle again. So what I want to do is go around in my circle to bring my needle so that it's up here at the top. So again, I'm going around my right angle unit, going down the 2 on the side, so that way I'm not seeing any thread. I'm going to go through the 2 here. I'm just circling around through the 2 on the side here. and then through the 2 on the top. So I'm coming out one of the corners. Get that tail out of the way. And once you're coming out of the corners, we're going to get ready to do the same thing, adding that 3rd row. So we're doing that 3rd row. We're going to put a bead on, and then we're just sewing down on the diagonal right into the middle. We're going to go the whole way doing this, both on both sides. And then I'm going to get ready to show you how to knot off your thread and to complete our earring design. So now that we're done our little unit, all we need to do is get our threads back to the stop bead. So all you're going to do is take your needle and your thread, and you're just going to sew through all your side beads one more time. And that's going to take you basically halfway around your project. And then because it's an earring and it's not getting a lot of tension, I'm just going to knot on the 2 ends, and then I'm going to burn it down. So once you have everything tied off, what you can do is figure out exactly how you want to attach this to an ear wire. You can go to some of our wire working videos and get a little help on attaching an ear wire. I'm also going to show you just using 4 inches of 24 gauge wire, and I have an 8mm crystal and an ear wire. You can also see the earrings lined up. They would look really nice as a bracelet. You could add them together either on the diagonal or on the square. Either way would work. But for the earring, all I'm doing is taking the 24 gauge wire, and that fits through one of my 11/0 seed beads on the corner. I'm crisscrossing the wires at the top and making a little tiny crisscross there. With my round nose pliers, so I can get nice and tight in there, I'm going to take the shorter piece of wire and just twist it around the longer piece one time. I'm going to cut off the extra little wire there, put on my 8mm bicone bead, let that drop down next to my loop. And then I'm going to make a coiled loop with my round nose pliers, going over the top of the round nose, switching from top jaw to bottom jaw, and just twisting around. Again, check out our other wire working videos if you need more help on this technique. Then the only thing that you're going to do is just attach it right to your ear wire, and you'll have your little set of earrings. So thanks a lot for watching. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you get a chance, you can watch our other YouTube videos or check us out on Facebook. We'd love to see you also in one of our locations. Go to PotomacBeads.com to our locations page to check out where you can buy all of this beautiful supplies, as well as stop in to take a class and say hello. Also check out our website if you need some materials at thebeadco.com. Thanks a lot for watching.